Hello, Ian here from Dark Blaze Workshop. Welcome back to another video. This one we're doing Sirius Black. Okay, here we go. Yes, I went for an alternative colour scheme on this one because I thought the beige one and browny one wasn't really the same as I saw in the film, so I went for a bluey grey and using pigments to get a dusty coat at the end then. So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it. Let's get into it. Okay, Mr. Black. As you can see, I've already done the face. It's exactly the same process as how I painted Lucius Malfoy. Same colours, same process. The hair is German grey. And we're on to the main colours now. I wanted to do a different colour scheme than the box art because that looks a kind of browny, dirty, sandy colour. And the pictures I've seen online, he's more of a grey blue colour, so that's where I'm gonna go with. And so I'm gonna do the jacket and the trousers first, and the base coat is gonna be Slaanesh grey from Citadel. It's fairly thin. Say about 50% water to 50% paint. And the idea is that we'll do a dark stripe over the top of this. And then the dark stripe will be a similar colour to the jacket then. So this will take a couple of coats. Make sure I get all the areas that I want to paint. Okay, wait for that to dry, I'll go on to the second coat. So on with the second coat now, and I'm just going to apply this to the raised areas. So it's this fold here. There's a fold in there as well, so I'll just pick out the top of that. And here, and I'm not going to touch the shadow areas at all with this one. So bottom of the fold, there's a triangle there running down the front of his thigh, so we'll pick that out, and maybe a bit at the back and the patch. Bottom of that fold there will come round. So I'm not going to touch the fold just immediately below the patch. I'm not touching that at all. So up the top is mostly flat on this side. From what I can see, there's a little fold there, so we'll pick that out. And if we do another coat and do exactly the same as this pass, we should pick out, well, we should get a nice little transition between the shadow areas and where we've just painted. So I'll leave that dry. So same again, pick out the raised areas. So here, that triangle, back of the fold there, on the patch, on the fold. Fold there. Flat front, and the folds. So while that's drying, I've got pure Slaanesh grey. I lied, I said I had Slaanesh grey to start with. It was actually 50-50 with Warpfiend grey. This is Slaanesh grey on its own. And I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to go the same areas but work in a smaller area, so towards the edge of the folds. Put the pigment down towards the edge of the fold. Do the top half of the patch. You should start to see a little bit of transition there now. So this layer, I've added a little bit of white to the Slaanesh grey now. Just a little bit. I'm just going to pick out the edges of these creases. Same again. Paint is quite thin, so it's drying quite quickly, so we're okay to go straight in with a second coat. I'm just trying to pick out areas that look like they're more raised than others. Just trying to get a bit of interest. Go in. And I'll add a little bit more white to the mix. And highlight again. So I'm going in a smaller area now, and that triangle on the thigh, I'm just basically doing a line down the middle. Just trying to highlight it, give it some more volume. And the edge of this fold here. You should start to see that now, hopefully. Tiny bit more white. I think this might be the last highlight we'll see before we add the darker colour over the top. So I'm just dotting it on the highest area think we will go another highlight. I'll add more white this time. So I think we're about 50% white, 50% Slaanesh grey now. This should be the last highlight. So right on the edge of this fold, just pick out that crease there. And in the middle of the V shape. Top of that patch. And then over this side, I'll just stay at the top half of each fold now. Unless it's quite prominent, I'll go all the way down. Like this one here is more prominent, so we'll go down to the edge. And pick the collar. It's looking a bit better now. So for the darker stripe, I'm going to be using an old Citadel colour foundation paint, this Fenris Grey. Now, it's a bit of a weird colour because that is, which one was that one now? That is the Fang, right? So that is a bit lighter, a bit greyer. And we've got the old Shadow Grey, which is darker version of this one. But this one has actually got more blue in it. So I'm going to be using that one and I'm going to water it down. So this is pretty much the same darkness as that one, but it's got more blue in it. So we'll go with that. So the plan is to thin it down, about 50% paint, 50% water. I might put a bit of flow improver in it as well for the first coat and see how we get on with that. Okay, there we go. So I'll do the overcoat first, and we'll do the old wet edge technique where we start off on one side and work our way around the back. Let's just refocus before we start. Okay, there we are, that's better. Right, so Fenris Grey. Work our way around the model. So if you haven't got this colour, you can always use the Fang, but add a little bit of dark blue to it. Just a tiny bit, and you should be able to get a similar colour, but there's nothing wrong with just using the Fang. So some fairly similar colour, you probably get the same result. Okay, leave that dry. So I've done the second coat around the overcoat, and I'm about to start the stripes now. So I'm using the same brush. It's a size 1 from Winsor & Newton. I'm only using this one because it's the one that's got the best point at the minute from my collection. This is the Fenris Grey. Remember I said it was about 50% water, 50% paint, and then I added 1 drop of flow improver into it. I'll just show you the consistency. Let me get rid of the excess. So it's still fairly thin there. What I want to do is to add a bit of water to this anyway, because the stripes on the box art are quite thin. So I've got a drop of water there, and a big drop of paint, and we'll use this for the stripes on the I guess they're pyjamas really, aren't they? So okay, so I'll refocus and we'll make a start. Okay, so ready to go. And what I usually do is when I'm doing stripes or anything similar to that, I'll use a reference point that I can use as a marker. And on here, there's like the V of the jumper part of it. So I'll use that as the first line. So going across where that V is. That's okay. I might need a little bit more paint in it, but we'll see how it goes. Because I don't want an opaque line. I want it quite thin to start with, just in case. So it's always better to go too thin to start with, just in case you make a mistake. And the good thing about having flow improver in your paint is you can just dip your brush in the water and then remove it. So I think we'll wait until that dries before we carry on, just to see how it looks. Because I'm fairly happy with it. It could be a little bit more intense, but maybe with a second coat it'll improve. So I'll just spin this on its side so it's easier to get to. And I'll just make the line a bit wider. Just looking at the box art again, there's about 4 or 5 stripes to add on this space, you know, the top half of the jumper, so I think we should be able to fit them in. Yeah, I'll take another couple of coats, I think. So that's 3 coats. So that tells me that we need to ease off on the water. So I'll just use the original consistency, which is half paint, half water. And what I've done, I've marked, because I want 4 stripes on here, I've marked there, there, and there as the other 3 stripes. And what you can do then is to match up on the other side with 3 corresponding marks at the same level. So there's one there, one there, and one there. And then it's just a case of matching up the lines then. So I'll start with this one. The thinner you do your original line, it leaves you more room for correcting any errors. If I go by mistake at an angle, at least I can make it appear straighter by adding more on the top or more on the bottom. Another stripe. I can afford to make these wider as well. Could have gone for 5 stripes really, thinking about it. So I'll carry on, and what I'll be doing is building up the intensity of these stripes and just making sure that they are all the same thickness and that they appear to be horizontal. And I'll come back and do the same for the trousers. So I've managed to build up the stripes now to a point where I'm pretty happy with them. What I'm going to attempt to do is to add a dark line across the top and bottom of each stripe, but I'm not holding out much hope for this working, but we'll give it a go. Okay, I've added a tiny bit of black to the Fenris grey, and I've swapped to a 00 brush, and if this doesn't work I'll swear. So really thin line across the top, and I've gone too thin, so I need to think about adding more paint to it. And we'll keep a little bit of flow improver on the palette. This enables you to correct any mistakes that you make. Let's try another line. So we're going to bottom stripe now. Just keep the brush stroke going in the same direction, so as I'm going from up to down. I'm not sure if this is making much difference at all, but we'll carry on. I'm not sure if you'll be able to pick that up, but there's a definite thin line across the top there. So I'm going to leave it at that for the top half now, and I'm going to use exactly the same process on the bottom half now. But what I'm going to try to do is leave, there's a bit of interest there with the hole in his trousers, so I'm going to leave that as a light area and do a blue stripe above and below it so that we keep that little bit of interest. And see how many stripes I can get in. So I'll carry on off camera and I'll come back when I finish the stripes. So I've got the blue stripes on, so I'm slightly warming to the black line that's on the outside of the stripe. So I'm carrying on with that theme. So I'm just going to add the black line to either side of the stripes on the trousers. There's 2 or 3 strokes should pick the stroke, should pick the line out, I should say. Can't speak at the minute. So I'm going to carry on doing the stripes. And, we'll see on the other side. Alright, back soon.